p.m. So if you need to use the toilet or grab a beverage, please do so now. Okay, thank you everyone for joining me this evening as we will go through the Certified Blockchain Consultant course preview. Um, I appreciate that we have like more international participants this time round. So without further ado, go straight into the details. Okay, please note that this session will be recorded for our own administrative purposes. Okay, so a little bit about the school. So we were founded in January 2018, and today we are a social enterprise and incorporated in Singapore. Yeah. So we have a couple of membership in the global blockchain community. As you can see, some would be WBA, GBBC, and GBA. Yep. So, and just recently, we have achieved our accredited training provider by the Institute of Banking and Finance, and our course, this current certification course is also accredited by IBF. Okay, so across the 4 years that we have been uh, bridging awareness in blockchain and also in educating. We have trained learners across the globe, specifically from Singapore, Malaysia, Indonesia, China, UK, Japan, Germany, and the UAE. So particularly for the certified blockchain consultant course, we have roughly around like 30 CBC credential holders to date, out of the 6 intake which we have conducted so far. Okay, this is a little bit about us like 5 years ago. So we're actually a bunch of, you can call ourselves misfits in the blockchain community. So back then there was a lack of awareness and also education in the blockchain and fintech space. It's pretty much a wild west. So Alvin, which is our president, he started this so that the community at large would gain more awareness in the space, specifically looking at technological adoption and also credibility in the projects. Okay, so before COVID, we were doing more like physical events. Um, we're doing like hackathons and also giving partnering projects and also blockchain based companies to educate the public on the technological aspect of things. Then personally, I had a chance to go to Dubai also in 2018. So I think back then, before fintech was a thing, it garnered some interest in people in the financial space and also students who major mostly in technology and finance. And and I think back in 2020, last year, if I'm not wrong, when we decided to reposition ourselves as a social enterprise, we started more like sustainable social initiative. And actually, our activity for last year, actually, we did like sponsor a meal for our local national, I'll say, hospital that fights infectious disease. And during this tough period, we also managed to go down and support like one of our local business. So being an SME ourselves, we do know that the struggles of like business, especially during these times. And I think one thing from the owner that of this like butchery and convenience store is that I think he's grateful that I think with just our little token of support, he's able to keep the lights on for his shop for another month. Yep. Yep. So we'll dive right into the certified blockchain consultant course. So this course is roughly a 3 months course. So half of the time will be spent mostly on e-learning. From our previous learners, they commit roughly like 2 hours per week across 6 weeks to cover some modules through like a self-directed learning online environment. And then we will venture into a 3 full day instructor-led session. So this, I think this is a section whereby you get to meet your fellow learners in the current intake, and it's I'll say it's a full day event from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Singapore time. So right now we're still running it as online due to like different COVID measures in different parts of the world. Yeah. So and we will end it off with a competency assessment, and do know that this is optional. So so this is optional if you're just planning to go through the course for knowledge. So I think the purpose of the CA is, say, if you are a professional in the IT space or looking at some level of career transitioning to fintech and blockchain, it becomes a prerequisite for you to apply for the CBC credential. Yep. So just 3 weeks shy ago, we achieved our accredited accreditation by the Institute of Banking Finance, particularly for this course. Okay, some of the learning units that will be covered on the self-directed online learning. Yeah. So it will be a primer to get you up to speed on what is blockchain and fintech, and we'll dive into more, I'll say, popular topics like smart contracts and the application. And let's say you are a business owner or people in the finance industry, I'll say there's some level of like regulatory compliance and also like privacy policies that will get you familiar with. So we do have an elective that touches very little on the technical aspect of application development and is focused on the Ethereum blockchain. So just recently, I think Ethereum announced their updates of like moving into proof of stake. So I think it's exciting times, and we have updated our curriculum to that. Okay, so for those who are interested in our CBC credential, so this is relatively the pathway to achieve the credentialing. So it starts by a competency assessment, being competent at it. So once you are competent, you receive a we call it a COC, a certification of completion, and you can use this certificate of completion to apply for the CBC. So let's say you are yet to be competent in the the competency assessment. You can either appeal, and if the appeal is unsuccessful, you will retake the CA again. So we allow up to 2 retakes before you have to go through the entire CBC course again before going through the pathway to do to get a credentialing. Okay, so this is typically how the schedule is like from across 3 months, from week 1 all the way to week 8. Okay, so and this is, if you look at week 1 to week 6, these are structured according to your online learning learning units. And likewise, do note for our next intake, it will be from 1st July to 11th August. So for the instructor-led training across 3 days, we will put it on the weekends. So it will be within a time frame of 2 weeks. So it's typically a Saturday and Sunday Singapore time. So day 1, day 2 will be a Saturday, Sunday. Day 3 will be the next Saturday. And the day 4 will be a competency assessment, which is a 3-hour assessment. Okay, so to be very specific into how the whole process works, is that you have to go through and complete the requirements for the CBC course, then attempt the competency assessment, And once you're competent again, you'll receive a certificate of completion. If not, you can appeal and retake the CA in the next intake. And if let's say on the second attempt you are not competent on the CA, you have to repeat the entire CBC course. So once you attain the certificate of completion, you can apply for the credentialing. So what this does is that you can actually put the CBC registered trademark onto your status. So it works similar to, let's say, other professional certification like the CFA and related so-called titles. Okay, so for the rest of 2022, we have 2 intakes, one coming next month. The deadline would be the 24th of June. And then the last intake of the year will be on the 7th of October. Okay, so just do take note of these two dates. Okay, so we'll proceed to cost fee and financial matters. So I think with the accreditation from the Institute of Banking and Finance, we do have some grants for, unfortunately for Singaporeans and local PRs only. Yep. So if you look at it, the original cost fee is 1,250 Sing dollars or 925 US dollars. So the rest of the prices are reflected after the grant, after the application of the grant. Yeah. So and for the other funding we have is the NTUC UTAP. So they fund up to 50% of the unfunded cost fee. So let's say you have applied for the IBF grant, and then there is a payable. Then from there, you can claim 50% of funding from NTUC upon successful completion of the cost. Okay, so we have another pathway, which is the assessment only pathway. So this is typically for professionals who have working experience in fintech or blockchain for at least a year. So they are required to go through a so-called a submission of their work portfolio. So if granted, they can skip the course and just do the assessment directly. So our assessment fee is Singapore dollar 60 or 43 US dollars. Yeah. And we'll be providing every learner a learning guide to go through. Okay, so locally we do have a scholarship scheme for low-income earners. So it's typically a representation either by a blue trust card or so-called their tax statement. So what classify as a low-income earner in Singapore is they're earning a monthly salary of less than 1,200 Sing dollars. Yeah. Okay, so for the next intake, which is the October intake, we'll be introducing a sponsorship program for international learners. So the criteria is that they have to be full-time students studying in a polytechnic or university, or seniors who are 60 years old and above. So what this program covers is 90% of course fees. And this is not, how should I put it? This is not available for Singaporeans and local PRs. Yep. Yep. So likewise, if you happen to be a CBC holder and like to come back for a refresher course, Simply being that we update our curriculum from time to time. It is 100% free. Yeah. So, and for our strategic partners, we have a additional 5% discount. And sorry, alumni too. Okay, so we have taken 2 certification in the space and do a contrast onto how we differ and what is our advantage when we offer you this course. So we comply with I think the highest level of our local education body, which is I think Workforce Singapore, the Skills Future, and we also have developed our curriculum according to the ISO standards. Yeah, so I think the rest, I think you could look through, and if you have any questions, you could leave us a question after the session. Yeah, so just to touch a little bit on the ISO TC 307, which is a subject particularly in blockchain and distributed ledger technologies. So for our senior personnel, Elvin and Ian, they are part of this community that help define the so-called the content and what the recognized terminology in this space. Yep. So I think it's an exciting space for blockchain ahead. So I believe you guys are aware that there are tons of opportunities in this space, and for us, we are particularly focused on consultants. So if you're a management consultant or you take on clients as a technology consultant, so I think this would be highly applicable to what we'll be doing. So, and I think for tertiary students, we do receive like students from other major like biomedical and all that, and most of them are pretty curious of how they could deploy this technology into their field of studies. Yep. Yep. So we have reached the Q&A part. So right now, at the bottom right corner, there is like a tree symbol icon. You can click on it and you can ask your questions. Yeah. Yep. So if you have any questions, feel free to post it as a question. And if not, do unmute your mics and just let us know like any queries you have. And I would like to say that this is the first time I've seen more people from international countries joining our preview session. Mostly it's very much 80% Singaporeans or Malaysians. Okay, so we have a question from Mr. Arjibar. If the class can be taken by Africans. Yep, you can join our class, but do note that we are running on Singapore time zone, which is GMT +8. This is especially so for the instructor-led session. So you have to be present for the 3 days, and on day 4, which is a 3-hour paper, you have to be online for these sessions. Yeah. So, and another point to note is that on our website, we do state of a minimum requirement. So this is normally based on your education background, and also like if you have a diploma or certification in certain um, in certain fields. I think it would be good to provide during the registration. Okay. Any questions from the floor? Okay, so if there's no further questions, wish you guys a good evening, and yep, do send us an email